That's good.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah, Netflix hooked up.
Probably. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in to Put a Stamp on a Podcast. I am Jose Ariano with Mr. Gary Frossel here. And it's been a while, and we thought we'd change it up a little bit. And right now, we're actually at our office where we work, or one of the rooms that we have here. So it's been a while. Right now, we actually have access to some Netflix, which
We're not watching, but
we're not watching
with it.
And definitely, there's a lot of recent shows, man. So we've been away for a couple weeks now. Gary, so what is new with you, my friend?
I'll start with you.
Okay.
You got the podcast voice going on right now. You dropped a little deeper when you jumped in.
Yeah.
So what's been up, man?
Well, as far as recently, lots of changes, especially with work and family life and everything like that. Most recently, went to a 49er game yesterday, which was actually pretty fantastic. My wife and I, were the first time we went to Levi Stadium, and we thought, wow, it was a good game.
Mm.
Wish it would have got the W, but the experience overall was nice, just being in a different atmosphere. It was hella windy and cold, but for the most part, we had a great time. Why is it, though, on the way out? For some reason, it's just so damn hard to get out, to get to the train that's going to shuttle you out. Like, I would think after so many football games, they'd have an easy way, just facilitate you go in and get out. But it's like a herd of sheep, just slowly moving. And man, there was a couple guys that were just faded. It was a trip that you would think this guy, and I should have put on Instagram, but I didn't. But he was on the corner, he had his phone, he was FaceTiming someone, and he's just rocking. He had the wherewithal to hold on to his phone and everything. But so that was fun. Thanksgiving passed. I'm still, you can tell, I ate good. I'm still eating good. I had that talk with you about trying to work out and get fit and have washboard abs. And we came to the conclusion that washboard abs, I'm sorry, I love food too damn much to say, you know what, I'm going to chisel it out. So as far as the pumpkin pie, cheesecake, and then Christmas, have some more tamales. My mom's probably going to make some if I ask her. Some homemade flour tortillas. So if you haven't figured out by now, I'm a little fat ass. I like to eat, love food. I like working out every now and again. And Albizi, another guy at the office, one of our coworkers, he brought a weight in today. So I'm gonna try to lift up and work out, 25-pound dumbbell. See what happens. Don't expect much. Just stay fit. You know?
My point to you guys always is like, don't I don't know. This is my point of view, and I think we talked about this before. It's like, just shut up. Like, not to you, just like shut up. Like why? I think we give people artillery, like I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to diet. I'm going to do this. You know, it's like you just say it. I don't know if people are saying it because they want to hear it as motivation.
Yeah.
But then, like, we see you with the donut in your mouth, or you see somebody eating a whole pizza, and you're kind of like, I thought you were going to lose. Like, if you never mention that, no one would ever say anything.
Yeah. But then no one would say anything if that's.
But if you're working out all the time,
yeah,
and you kind of just didn't, I hit the gym, I work out, like, but you weren't trying to give an end result, like, you just, like, if that's like, does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with it, but it does make sense the way you say it.
But like every time, like, I'm the type of person that likes to fucking talk shit. So like, I'm like, every time you say something and I see you doing different, I'm like,
yeah,
because I feel like you sell it so hard to everybody that you're going to get. I'm gonna get it today. I'm gonna, like, even you say like, I'm gonna lift this weight in the office, and I'm gonna get some.
I'm gonna try, yeah. Because I don't.
But what is that gonna do for us to stand there and lift the weight in the office other than this joke around?
No, for me, don't expect much. It's just something for myself.
So don't set a low bar. Because you're not, if you don't expect, what I'm saying? Like, because the expectation is nothing really. I think the expectation is to get people to look at you doing that as a novelty.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No.
So like, it's funny to see us doing it and people to walk by and look and be like, oh, that dude doing that. You know what I mean? Like versus, and then in their mind, they're going to assume that it's always being done.
Right.
Versus you just, like, Manny don't ever talk about working out, really. Manny just goes. Yeah, Manny just puts on, right? So keep it quiet. Like, so I'm saying, like that's like for the whole, like, the big push right now coming is like, New Year's resolutions and new, I'm out with 2019, I'm in for 2020. Yada, yada. Like,
Right.
yo, fam, it's gonna be the same goddamn thing going on from 2019 to 2020. As soon as Wednesday hits, was it Tuesday or Wednesday that it lands on?
It
New Year's
lands
Eve.
on a New Year's Eve.
Lands on a
a
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
That Wednesday, other than a date and a time change, or your date change, it's still the same. It's still the same. Like,
Yeah.
other than you telling yourself, like, what? I want to go to the gym. I want to lose weight. This is my year 2020.
It's a reason for people to try to reset and do different things because, I mean, granted, if it's just, I feel like if it's just even a small little step for them to change something for like a month or two, because we all know diets only last for so long, right? They do good for about a month or two, and then after that, it just falls apart.
Well, that's initially because you call it a diet, though.
Yeah. Well, or change of lifestyle, whatever. I mean, you can put whatever label you want on it, and it's still going to be some type of change for that person. And I think that if they're trying to do that, even though people like yourself that you're going to talk shit, oh, that's only going to last about 2 months.
No, I don't say that's going to last. I don't say that's going to last 2 months.
No, but if they say go in like, oh yeah, I'm going to diet, I'm going to work out.
But my thing is like if we're out or doing something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I see people talking to other people and they're selling them this whole damn story about I work out, I do this. I'm just using working out as an example. I do this, and then like on the backside, you're kind of like, but no one knows. But your actions don't show that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're basically like, why lie to yourself? You can't hold yourself accountable. Like it's you got to hold yourself accountable. Like why lie to yourself? Does that make sense? Like you got to be able to be like. So my whole point with like the working out thing is like, just if you just drop the same way you like to start the year saying, someone like to start the year saying, well, I'm gonna, it's my New Year's resolution to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start going to the gym. There's no expectations at all. It's just you're going to go to the gym.
Okay.
So I run every day. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
We went for it. Oh, just be healthier. Not I run because I want to get it. I want to, that's when you're setting.
When you get down to specifics.
That's when you're setting a standard that's going to be a little different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true. But sometimes I feel like even for myself, I try to do that because man, I would love to, but then I'm at the point right now. Okay, I'm probably not gonna have a six pack. I just want to be
just
healthy.
Accept it. I won't either.
I just want to be healthy.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when like with that, we get ourselves caught up in these conversations to just like showboat to other people. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think that you're trying to showboat because I think like anything else, it's got to whatever it is, working out, new job, traveling, or whatever. I think it's got to start with you, right? With what you want, and it gets to a point where.
But let me ask you: when you said that you were going to lose weight and you were going to work out, did you really believe you would do it?
Yeah, I did. At that point in time, yeah, because it all has to start with something. They do like, oh, I'm just going to give it a shot. Like, I truly have to believe. Now it was short lived, but I'll get back on that wheel again. Okay, you know what? I'm going to try to do this and just eat a little bit healthier, work out a little bit more. Not get all roided out and get huge, which I know I don't want, but just something that I just want to be fit at that point, If we train for a Spartan race, then obviously I will change my diet and work out a lot more harder and do different things more because I'm going to compete. Because Ed came in the other day, he's like, hey, so whatever with the Spartan race, you running anymore? I said, not as often as I did. Oh, what happened? The Spartan race came and you guys just kind of, I said, well, for the most part, for me, yeah. Mm-hmm. I was like, I just kind of, when it's competition time, then I'll get ready. Right now, with food season, as I call it, I'm just like, I'm going to enjoy it. I'll be fine. And then when it comes time to compete, then okay, then I'll clean up a diet a little bit, because a little donut every now and then doesn't hurt anybody. But, just try to be ready for competition when it presents itself. But for the most part, I just let it be, man. But that doesn't mean that, I'm going to stop working out or trying to achieve a goal where, I can, trim my waistline or do something. But I'm doing that for myself. I'm not trying to showboat to anybody, or I just want to be able to, not give up the fight, for myself. That's how I see it. But so, but anyone's entitled to their own opinion, to change, do whatever you want. And so be it. Now, as far as that goes, that was your Thanksgiving. Pretty good.
Yeah, man, it was good. We go to my aunt's house. We all go to my aunt's house. Everybody just kind of gets together. We watch the game, cook, everything like that. Man, just hang out. So it's usually a fun time.
Yeah.
We spend some good quality time with each other. Definitely always want to try to do what we can to just hang out with each other and stuff like that too as
Yeah.
well. So yeah, it was cool. Killed like 2 plates, but just man, after I was bushed after. I was like, oh, I literally had to like lay down and stretch because I felt like it was just sitting there. I'm like, oh, my stomach, like, good lord, man. Like it just didn't want to push through or something, but I felt heavy, man. All that food, it was good food though, man. My hand comes through when it comes to cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Traditional turkey and biscuits and gravy and all that stuff, or do you have a specific meal?
No, just traditional stuff. For the most part, yeah, traditional.
Yeah. My mom usually makes her cheesecakes and her pumpkin pie, and the cheesecakes growing up, that was always a fight. My mom would be like, hey, leave the cheesecake, it's for Thanksgiving. Or she'd try to make them early in the morning or the day before. She made them the day before, we'd sneak them like little rats. We'd take a slice. We were younger then, so my mom, she would whoop our ass if we took a slice because she wanted a nice presentation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd coax them, hey, if you get a slice, we'll split it so we can share half the blame.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came down to it, it'd be like, no, Mom, Naomi got a slice. It wasn't me. Naomi got a slice. She ate it, but I cut it. And then she just ended up beating our asses. Now we got to the point where she would each make us an individual pie itself so that we wouldn't fight. Oh, man. Yeah, I think I gained about easy 5 pounds on that one. Because no one else, my kids don't eat cheesecake. So I ate a whole 8-inch cheesecake pie just by myself.
What's funny is when people eat, it cracks me up because like I don't know, like we get when people bring donuts to the office. Oh, let me just get half of it. Like they take half and they leave that other half, or like our culture is so it's so like ashamed to take on eating a meal in a sense.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm just gonna take half of that, or no, let me just have a little bit. Like, that's annoying to me.
Yeah.
Like, you eat the fucking donut or don't eat the fucking donut. Like I don't know. Like it's like it's almost like you're selling yourself that I'm not eating all of it. So I'm just gonna leave that half there. And then someone leaves that half there, and then another person comes up and they're like, who took half the donut? Like, I don't want to touch that. Like, it creates more of a mess than it really is. Like, my mind is like, but it's a way, like it's almost like psyching yourself out. Like, I'm just gonna do half of that. So I'm just gonna drink half this drink and push it off to the side. Like, I just
portion control. I mean, and I understand it because you're like, just eat the whole dang thing
or don't eat it.
Or someone might come along and be like, oh, cool, I only wanted half a donut. Because someone's doing this.
Watch, there's a half a donut right now in there, and let's see how long that half a donut sits there.
Yeah.
Like, if anything's really gonna come, no one's gonna touch it. Like, because it's been tainted. You know what I mean? So,
it could be on a point system.
But back to so let me think. Let's get to something interesting. That just isn't lame.
No.
Like, what do you think about like New Year's resolutions, man? I mean, those are kind of coming. I mean, everybody's. Do you have a New Year's resolution? Do you really think about a New Year's resolution?
You know what? I don't, man.
Or do you just kind of that day it feels like I'm gonna throw this out there?
No, not even that day. I have a bunch of things that I would kind of like to do, but I don't want to set in stone and be like, okay, I'm gonna make this much money. I'm going to guarantee make these many vacations. I'm going to change this. I'm going to read more books. Because I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's older age. I'm 39. I'm going to be 40 next year. But I'm thinking like most of the stuff that I want to do now, I don't want to do like 10 times more. Like, I think if I get the feeling like I want to read a book, I'll read a book. I don't feel like I want to force myself. I'm going to read one book a month.
Mm-hmm.
In hindsight, it'd be good because I know I'm horrible at reading. I could read you a magazine.
So let me ask you a question. Where did you come up with the idea about reading a book? Right? Like, where does that come from?
To me, it comes from school. You have to read a book. You have to educate yourself. The more you read, the more you know.
You don't think that comes from the culture of the businesses that we're in? Because like I heard, I was listening to a podcast and this guy, he's a tech billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
And he's telling dude, he's like, I skim through books. I'll read the front pages, middle, back. I just jump around. I pull stuff I like, but I don't really ever read the whole book.
Right.
And like Gary Vaynerchuk doesn't read books, right? So I feel like our culture of entrepreneurism, and these like they well, if you're not reading books, you're not doing what you should be doing. You know,
Right.
if you're not, you know, like I know they say, you know, at school like to read books and stuff like that. You know, try to read. But my point is like when somebody whenever somebody gets into like this type of work field, it's like immediately like, well, what books are you reading? Right. And they're trying to read those books because they're trying to gather that information, maybe from a self-education. So my point is like, do you really, like initially when you see people's, I don't think I've ever really been wowed by anybody's, or thrown off by anybody's, New Year's resolution. Because a lot of it's like the same shit all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's I'm gonna lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get fit. I'm gonna read more books.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm gonna, you know, something has to do with money. I mean, generally, it's just like a handful of things that people are doing, right? So that's my point. Is like, where does the book thing come from, or just in general, like, you know, where you know, why is that seed already pre-planted from just hearing it from other people that you feel like that should possibly be a resolution for you going into the next year?
No, I think for myself, it was embedded in school. You got to read books. The more you read, the more you can learn about stuff. And then, you know, you touched on it, the environment that we're in. Oh, yeah, you sell more homes, read this book. Hey, you know people, read this book. And it's like, there's so much information out there, man, that I don't want to spend the time reading two books. Like that one guy, whoever it is, that's what I do. I'll skim through them a little bit. Okay, then I'm done with it, and that's it. And I think that's okay, you know, because not everyone's a bookworm where they can read all that stuff. I think, honestly, that's a God-given talent.
I think I think in different seasons of your life, you're going to go look for the content of what you need to find. Somebody who's leaving a job, getting to another job, is probably going to look for more of that information. Someone who's in a relationship, that's leaving a relationship, is going to look for more information. You know, that's going to be their source of getting that information to, you know, like I said, you know, it's like YouTube. You know, you can go literally find any book or any YouTube or anything to support your questions or your cause at that moment. Yeah. There's others that challenge it, but we're such in a free world of being able to get information that you don't have to listen to that. You can just support whatever you want to support.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
You know, so you know, and so that was kind of that right there, you know, my thoughts, you know, with that. So, because me and Albert were having this conversation the other day. Like, I was like, you know, I forgot the statistic, but there's some crazy statistic of like how depressed people are now, right?
Oh, right.
You know, and I asked, we were talking just in general, and I was like, you know, so like everybody's always chasing something else, or I'm not happy with this, right? You're gauging your life against someone else and stuff like that. Yeah. And we were talking, and it was like, you know, what would be right now, like, just like, you know, like what I ask myself? Something like, what makes you happy? Like, what does happiness look like to you? He's like, well, you know, he had a couple list of things, like with family, you know, certain things.
Those are defaults.
Well, I'm saying, like, he was drinking coffee with his wife. It was like, you know, hanging out with his kids, you know, running. He had a list of things, really good, right? And then then we kind of went into kind of like things that current situation, you know, but basically my point was, if you ask most people, you know, if you can ask people like, what makes you happy? But most people are already doing those things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, most of those people are kind of in that situation where they're doing them, but you just don't appreciate them while you're doing them. Yeah. Because you're too caught up in, I need to do this and I need to do that you don't appreciate that moment. You know, does that make sense?
No, yeah, it does.
So like, you know, whether it's like, you know, like for you, you know, I mean, you get to go see your kids play soccer and do all the things that you're participating in. At times, I mean, I think most parents can say, you know, you can think that, man, my time can be best spent somewhere else. You know, like there's times where, man, maybe I could be at work right now. Or, man, I could be at the house cleaning. Or, man, maybe I could get this project done, but I'm here right now, right? And you're not kind of like in the moment. Not you, right. I'd say just in general. There has to be time.
No, there has been time.
You've been that way, you know what I mean? Or, man, I really got to drop doing this to go do this, you know. But when you get closer to when money isn't the motive, I think, like I said, that's how it kind of started. I was like, if you pulled money out of the equation, generally everybody's living kind of that kind of, you know, it makes them kind of happy situation. You know, you want to be with somebody else, you want to be a spouse, you want a relationship, share feelings, go on trip, these things, you know. Yeah. I was like, it's just that everything else clouds it. And because Little Duval You know who that is?
Yeah, the rapper.
He was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was saying the craziest thing is to see all these people get all this money, and then when they can finally retire and they don't have to work anymore, is when they lose their shit because they have no clue what makes them happy.
Mm-hmm.
Or that all they've already had the stuff that was making them happy. So like they don't know themselves, so they're just kind of like, I don't know what the hell to do anymore, you know. Like so it really throws them off, right? So like that's why there's some people when they're like, yeah, when I get here I'm gonna retire. I'm like, yo, you're never gonna retire, like because there's a work ethic other than that. You're not gonna allow for them to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because someone that continues to work now, they say, oh, well, I'm gonna stop when I'm 65. Man, the way you work your ass off all the way to you're about 60 and you can still do, you're like, you know what? It's like you said, it's ingrained in you to be that worker, to keep producing or keep doing whatever it is that you do, that you're not going to stop.
Well, I think, then you should definitely try to, you're going to be 40. I'm 36. I'll be 37 in March. But like, I think in your 20s, you don't really, I can only speak till I'm 37, 36. You can speak to your 39. But like, in your teens and your 20s, you're just kind of like, time seems so far away.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like you have all of it in the world, and then you start realizing like how quick months move. Because just look,
dude, it's already gonna be Christmas, man.
But again, how shocking is it that every year we have the same conversation? Oh man, it's already Christmas. It's already So when are you enjoying, or when are you kind of trying to be present in what you can or can't do? In what time you're, I guess, kind of given. Like having a longer conversation with somebody that you may have not had a long conversation, maybe putting your phone down and being more involved into the conversation. You know what I mean? There's some surfacey things that people are like, well, put your phone down. So but you think about what you're missing out on if you're not involved.
Yeah.
Are you at that game, but are you really at that game, watching that game? Are you making the moment great for everybody versus, And you know what? I think this past year, looking back, I think that's been one of my biggest changes, because earlier when I got started in this business, I gotta sacrifice my kids' soccer games for sometimes, and I'll do that every once in a while. But they understand, Dad's gotta work. But right.
Now I want to be more present, be more at the time, because my son started high school this year, and I'm like, damn man, like 3 more years, he's gonna be gone, and then my daughter's gonna be by herself, and it's like, God willing, if he goes out of state, then it's just gonna be us 3. But I started reflecting, man, like I want to be here at the moment. So when my daughter had soccer trials with another team, I was there to support 100%. Hey, babe, let's do this. And I want to be there for those times to help them out, to let them know, like, hey, my dad was there when I needed him the most.
Right. Well, and then to go deeper into, like a New Year's resolution, right? Like if that's kind of like what people kind of get to, but then it's like, okay, well, yeah, you want to be there, but then are you there? Are we there? And then you're on your phone while you're just there. You know what I mean? Sometimes, that doesn't even. Then it's like, what the fuck are you here for? Like, it's like looking at a body. Like they know if you're paying attention. They know if you're engaged.
Oh, hell yeah.
So now it's like, well, what's a step further than me just being there? Now I'm engaged with what's there.
Yeah.
A lot of times, because we think that, okay, I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go. I gotta pick up my kids and I gotta drive them around, do this, do that, and you do it, and you're not having a conversation with them in the car. You're really engaged with them. You're not. Then you're just kind of just the chauffeur,
Yeah.
And your kids are gonna look back like, yeah, my dad was there, but I never really had a conversation with my dad.
Exactly.
So there's that being kind of involved, with that.
And what do you think that is? Do you think it's because kids are technology and parents are just like, oh, well, I don't want to deal with them, let them be on the phones or iPads or whatever? Or what do you think is causing that separation to where
Say that again?
they don't want to engage? Like how you were saying how, I try to be as engaging as I can with my kids, and most parents, like you were saying, are just a chauffeur. Like, okay, I got to do this, and then I got to take them here and there. And they don't engage with their kids.
Why they wouldn't engage with their kids?
Yeah.
I think you just get caught up in from experience, but I think for most people, I think you just are so caught up in everything else, like the bills or the next check, or I got to be here at this next appointment, or, after this, I have to take him here, and, then I got to get home. So like everything else that's going to happen or has already happened, you're looking at versus what's there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to say things like, I think it's easy to focus on things like, okay, you lost the job and you're like, well, quit looking back at that job and being mad why you lost it. Or, look at, be in the present moment, or, what job, but if you scale it down and you look at it like, okay, well, if I'm, dropping my kids off in the morning, my thought process is, okay, well, I gotta get the office by 9, I gotta make these calls, I gotta send this paperwork out. So now that takes you away from the moment
Yeah.
versus being there in the moment. And then you look at your kids, and then like they're older, they're being on their phone, they're on their phones and stuff. Well, they didn't really. I mean, I think gradually your phone sucks them into it. But then on the other hand, too, like I think a lot of them probably picked it up from us. Like they see us on the phone, so like, oh well, that's just what we do. You know what I mean? Like now, like the littler kids, like the kids see you on your phone. There's often sometimes I'm out and I'm like, I see the mom on the phone the whole time, and then the kids right there like talking to them and stuff. And well, when that kid gets the phone, that's how they feel. That's how they're going to interact. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think we're just always moving. We're always moving. It's just like always on to the next. There's never enough time. There's never enough time. You know, that's what it feels like. But there is enough time to do everything. You know what I mean? You're with a spouse, you possibly have to work as a team to do things. You know, to make that amount of time. But that's just some of it, you know, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, even that, man, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Because really, like, I try to engage with my kids, and I'm guilty of it too. There's sometimes where I'm on my phone or I'm playing a game on my phone, and it's a time game. Oh, hold on, and like, wait a minute, okay, stop. It's just a damn game. I can reset all over. Because I tell my son the same thing. I'm like, dude, I need you to take that. Well, I'm almost done with this game. I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe because I've been in that position. All right, when you're done with that session, I need you to do this, A, B, and C. Okay, cool. And then if he doesn't do it, then it's his ass. But for the most part, I have to reflect back and be like, okay, I've been like that too. We've been on lunches when you're like, damn, dude, you're on your phone. Like, hold up, I'm just trying to get this deal done. And it's like nothing's really going to change. And I guess moving forward, that's something that I want to do less of and be engaging in the moment. Because man, I mean, I think you miss a lot of little shit like that when you're just, in a hurry. Oh, well, I'm gonna drop her off at school, then go to the office, all this other stuff. When they, my daughter's like, hey, Dad, she had asked me a question the other day, and I was trying to watch out, and sometimes I'll just drop her off because I want to give her a sense of independence. But I try to talk to her on the wheel. Hey, babe, one of the things I always ask her in the morning, did you have any dreams last night? And sometimes she'll remember, sometimes she won't. And she's like, yeah, I'm sorry, Dad. I said, no, don't apologize for that. Like, intentionally not want to tell me about your dream. She's like, no. But then, it's that little moment, man, just from, and it takes us about maybe 10 minutes to drop her off at school, but those moments where we're either singing Christmas songs or we're talking and just enjoying each other's company, that I keep thinking, man, dude, I want it to be like this all the time, but I can't get caught up with, like, in the future, I hope she's still like this, because she's going to change. And I just try to be in the present and be like, you know what, that was a cool Christmas song that we sang together, or we had a small conversation about a topic or whatever. Those are the things that I'm starting to realize mean more to me than taking her out anywhere else, because it's just me and her. There's no one else.
Yeah, I had this. I don't know. I think just when you look back, I mean, I don't know if you just look back and say, okay, well, when I die, what am I gonna look back at, or how are they gonna speak of me, my kids, or just anybody you come in contact with, how that should be the goal. They're not gonna really step up and be like, well, they're a hard worker and man, we made so much money and stuff like that, and we did this, we did that, And I mean, people will have grudges against you and not have grudges, but I mean, there's a part where you just kind of like, I mean, it is what it is. You have to let it kind of go, I guess, in a sense, because there's no reason to hold on to that. But I think, what did someone say? I think we just got caught up in just the rat race, dude. I'm just trying to be with the Joneses, and with what we need this, I need my financial security, and a lot of people don't really even know what that even means when they mean financial security, you know what I mean? And a lot of people, that's their sense of who they are, is just their income. You know what I mean? Like if I can't tell you how much I have or all the stuff I have, or, then I'm really, once you scale that back, then you're really not, and I think once you're in the, if you're doing a race or you're working out with somebody, or you're at this point where you physically have to do something and you see that person breaking, you're kind of like, I ain't getting nowhere right now, is it? Like now because now you're relying on your fundamentals as a caveman of really, this separates us in these things, and I think it's easy to be driven, motivated, or, without a certain amount of real adversity, losing everything, or, you know what I mean? I think all of us can recall a point of adversity, like You know, that's why they would say like your kids are gonna be softer if they really don't have too much adversity. You know, like
Yeah.
they don't really know what it's like to not have a meal or to live in, you know, and you can't expect to press that upon them. You know, you just they'll identify their own adversity as they get older. But you know, you never want to forget. I think in a sense, that's kind of where, you know, that is your drive or what's your why, etc. You know, like your why can be a responsibility, but then there has to be a core of you that continues to push through, that wants to give back to other people,
Yeah.
And to make an impact on other people.
Yeah, I think there's got to be a sense of sustainability to be able to do all those things, and in hindsight, be aware of what you're actually doing. Because, like you said, at some point, you know, I think for anybody, like when you first get things, I was, I want to make a lot of money and do this and that. But then as you get older and you happen to make that money, you're like, okay, that's cool, but that's not really everything.
Well, like Tony
hell,
always says, what is a lot of money though?
Exactly.
A lot of money is different to you than to me, than to this guy, to that guy.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And then what does comedian say? What was the comedian? The comedian goes, the comedian says, no, it wasn't a comedian. It was a service I was listening to, and it was Stephen Furtick. He said, I was talking to my son, and my son says, Dad, is making $50,000 a year a lot of money? And he says, no, not until you make $50,000 a year. Then it's not enough money. So like the point was like, you know, like you think about these things like, you know, once you make that, it's like, I'm not making enough, right? Because now you're looking at somebody else and you're like, well, that guy's making more, and you start comparing yourself, or I can make more. There's different opportunities versus just like, you know what, man, this is enough. You know, like Tony always says, you know, what's the difference between making this amount of money and making this amount of money? You know, like it's the same lifestyle, you know, or you're doing the same things, stuff like that. So,
yeah, man, because I think the same person that makes 50,000 can live off of 30,000.
If you think about the ones that matter most, right? Your kids, your spouse, you know, I mean, your spouse can be subject to. A spouse can be subject to their, because they're an adult already. But like, you know, children are the best indicators of like, it's just like they love with blind faith. You can go to your house right now, smack your kid in the face.
Mm-hmm. And
later on that evening, they'll be all over you. I love you, right? Like they transition. They're not an adult. They don't really know the difference between like that whole like, you know, you can miss a meal for one of them. And, I'm hungry, but then like that's why you see kids like whose parents treating them like shit, and you're like, damn man, they treat that kid bad, but the kid still loves them. Mm-hmm. Like no matter what your mom put you through during the process, you didn't know it was bad. You kind of thought maybe it might have been, maybe it wasn't, but you were still. You love you still do, you know? Yeah. As you become an adult, someone does that to you. Now you know the difference between lying and right, and that's wrong, because you've experienced more life already. Right. So, you know, like your kid doesn't have a concept of time. Your kid doesn't know where that next meal's gonna come. They just know that when they get up in the morning, they're gonna have breakfast. Right. Right? Yeah. When you get up in the morning, do you know you're gonna have breakfast? Yeah. Why?
Well, because I know we got the pantry full and we have food.
That's not my point. No.
Something.
How
it's not your point, but
that can see that. No. Okay, let me restructure this. That pantry has food. How are you going to get that food?
Going to work.
How are you
going to the grocery store?
You're going to open the pantry and you're going to make yourself food, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So your daughter and your son. Do they wake up in the morning and they go make all their own breakfast, or does mom or dad make it first?
It's 50-50. Sometimes they'll make it for the most part, or sometimes I'll make it.
But most of the time they're gonna get up and they're gonna be like, they can sit around for a little bit and be like, well, what are you guys gonna make it for us, right?
No. My son gets up and he goes.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, because my son, he's self-sufficient now. He's 14.
Okay, so let me go backwards. Your son knows that he's gonna have a bed to sleep in every night. Yeah. Okay. If you and your wife were out of the picture, shit got rough, whatever, let's just say you guys die or whatever. Like, does he know his next step of where he's going to go sleep at? Without you telling him?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not.
I don't think so.
Right. What I'm saying is like the kid knows like.
But that's a little extreme though. Like,
no, but I'm saying like, this is blind. The kids live by blind faith is my point. Like.
Right. That I get.
You know that if you don't go to work, you don't get any money. Right? and you won't, if you guys don't both go to work, if you guys take the rest of the year off, you guys know checks aren't going to come in, you can't pay your bills, all these responsibilities hit, life hits, right?
Yeah.
But your kids don't understand that concept of that yet, as much as you can tell them.
Yeah.
Right? They've never experienced that yet. They have no debt. They don't have anything. So they know that there's always going to be food in the pantry, right?
Yeah.
They know there's always going to be cable. There's always going to be Wi-Fi. They know these things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
so they don't even. You're saying is they don't even give it a second thought because when they
Yeah,
get home,
yeah,
they turn
yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
Wi-Fi. They're like, oh, okay, cool.
it's there. Yeah.
So
So then when you have a conversation with them, you're like, you know what I have to go through to do all this? Like, no, they don't really
understand.
care. They
Yeah.
don't give a shit. Like, they don't, because they don't know. They have no concept of it.
Yeah, they don't.
You don't have a concept until you start paying for your own bill. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's, or I always tell my daughter, I used to be a picky eater. I used to tell her, man, I was a picky eater until I started buying my own food. I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to eat all this because I bought my own food.
Yeah.
Now I'm eating all this. Oh, it's nasty, but I'm going to eat it because I don't want to waste it because I spend money on it.
Yeah.
It's, they don't, it's like a,
it's not to their fault. It's just
no.
they've been
So what if
conditioned to an expectation. Like they'll get up in the morning, he knows, oh, I'm gonna have.
No, but I mean that's just. I
sausage,
think that's just in in general. Like even as like monkeys or even things like you just know your parents there. They take care of us as mammals. What we do,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was going into. I couldn't.
Them doing blind faith.
I wish Melissa was
that
able to
example.
explain.
Yeah.
So like the same thing with like. And me and Melissa were talking about this with blind faith with like religion. Like we had talked about like why is it hard for people to let go and trust in God's process with blind faith. That's your parents. So you should trust the process, just like your parent, like your kids trust in you that you're gonna do no matter what or right by them. I forgot what we were talking about, but I forgot the blind faith. What were you talking about before that?
We were talking about what was it? Yeah, it was about blind faith. How you were trying to come up with examples that kids just lead by blind faith. But
yeah, the first one was like if you're mean to your child, like they're going to love you no matter regardless, right?
Right.
You go be mean to your spouse for a couple months, or she can leave you.
Yeah.
A motherfucking child ain't gonna leave you. Like they can't.
Yeah.
You have to really, they be really. You can go look for the. I tell how your brain processes. You go look for. Well, they can't leave you because they can do this, they can do that. But in overall, like most kids don't even know they're in a shitty situation sometimes until they compare it to.
That's true.
To that, like they're just loving their parents by blind faith,
Yeah, because how many times you come across some kids that are beaten consistently, but yet I got to go get a job because I got to go help mom support this and that, and they come, oh, this ain't enough. Like just they're accustomed to that lifestyle that they don't know any different, so they continue on that pattern, so to speak, of the parents being mean to them. That when they meet someone else, and you see, every now and again where someone will go into the same relationship that they have with their mom, and then it could be like a shitty relationship, and they move forward with being treated badly because they don't know any different. But they still love their mom, so they figure, okay, this is love, so then I'm going to carry that to my next relationship the same way.
Yeah. God damn, I can't remember where I was going with that whole blind faith shit. I was going to get something good. I just remember.
Yeah. It'll come back.
Yeah, whatever. It must not have been too important, but I just yeah, I don't know, just in general, man. I mean, just overall, dude, like headed into 2020.
That's right. So do you have any resolutions or anything that you want to do, or do you feel that's just a high expectation people put on themselves just to fail?
No, I don't. I just nothing I care. I think initially I have a good concept of myself in general that I'm just like so I think because I'm really open recently and I'm just real like in just conversating and conversations I have with certain people and my conversations and praying and just kind of like with faith and all that. I don't have I don't feel like there's going to be any difference between the 31st and the 1st. Like I don't feel like, oh, it's 2020 now. God, it seems so different for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is it. Like and I'm not saying because I don't want to sell myself short or anything like that, but I don't think I have I don't know. I don't really have nothing to complain about or want to get better. I mean, I think if I'm just kind of focusing in the moment, like I'm happy I'm getting up, I'm happy I'm going to bed, I'm happy I'm spending the time with my children, and what's gonna happen is gonna happen. I mean, overall, I got expectations, of what what I'd like to do going into the next year. You know,
Yeah.
like those expectations and stuff like that. But I don't think there's any difference from me doing it on New Year's or me talking about it in March or
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like that's just kind of my thought of it. Like that's really no different day. I really feel like.
Well, I think most people don't wake up from one day to the next. Like, I'm pretty sure if we walk down the street, we ask like 10 people right now, hey, have you thought about your New Year's resolution? I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 of them are going to be like, yeah, I did. I want to do this. I plan on doing this. But they don't do it right now because they want to wait for that reset. Maybe it's a mental thing where it'll make them feel comfortable. I started the new year right. Why not just start it right now? Just work for that change and just, okay, I'm going to do it right now. But to say
where did the
31st
New
of
Year's
first-
resolution even come from? That's what I'm interested in. Like, where did that whole mentality of it's a new year, new me? A lot of it always makes me feel like it just comes from somebody soliciting us some type of way they want to sell us into using our shortcomings of us always wanting to do a reset. Like, I don't know, like.
Oh, yeah. Well, like the gym, they're going to have, hey, start now because they capitalize on that. And I think it's like, I don't know, kind of smart in a sense, but kind of bad in a way because you kind of go to what people want and make money off of that because
Oh yeah, and the gyms, man, when we used to sell memberships, like that was our year. That was it.
Yeah?
The reset. Oh yeah, dude, like the last part of Christmas, I think it was the middle of December, all the way through the first part of the year was the best. Like that's when you're killing on memberships.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to come in and sign up.
So what was your push? You'd be like, hey man, would you push that, hey, New Year resolution and kind of dangle that?
No,
they
they just came in. You just ask people why they want to lose weight, and most people were like, well, the elder the person generally was like for health reasons, right? So they were there because they had to lose weight, or they had to do something to move momentum and stuff like that. But most people, and this is just from my experience, most people were there because they got a divorce, they got a separation, their spouse cheated on them. This is guys and girls. They were unhappy with they was always unhappy with how someone else made them feel. Once you really dug it out of them.
Really?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? Like
the revenge bodies and all that.
Yeah, shit. I'm like, well, then you see them come, and then after a while they change their hair color, their clothing, and then like they do, then they'll come, they'll go. But I mean, that was kind of like something made somebody want to go. It was traumatic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. Well, this is the reason why they were there. So I was like me. I mean, my pitch was always just like, I have a 7-day pass. I'm like, what are you gonna do in 7 days that you haven't done in your life already? So if you sign up, you have a bill. Don't you think a lot more motivation to giving yourself 7 days not to come? Like just to dabble in it. What are you gonna identify in 7 days that you dislike that you didn't figure out the first day you came to work out?
Shit,
it's gonna be sore. It's gonna be sore. It's not gonna be fun. It's gonna take time to see your results. So what would make you come?
Oh, definitely paying the bill.
If you had to pay the bill, right?
Mm-hmm. Just sign up.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, then they'd be like, well, let me get that 7-day pass. I don't think you need it. You're not gonna just work out one time. I'm not gonna see you in the next 6 days.
Yeah.
Why flood the gym? like why? Like so that was kind of it. I mean, but I mean, when you're in a relationship, you got to deal with, like what other people are going to think. And I'm not saying gym, like, how are you working too much? Or, you're doing this too much. You're doing that too much. You're doing this too much, like, so it's always a questioning of someone else's shortcomings of like, why are you there? And then that was always the one where you see like the girl go to the gym and then the guy gets mad because she's at the gym all the time and she's getting fit. Or the guy goes to the gym and then the spouse is mad because he's at the gym all the time and you're worried about all these other women and stuff like that. And you saw other people too that would go to the gym as a couple and then one would stop going and one ended up getting really into it and they start getting friends and they're all working out, etc. And that dude or girl ends up leaving for somebody else who works there or works out of the gym because naturally you became a different person. You have to, like, if you're growing to always become a different person.
Yeah, and that's the thing, dude.
Like, you never can ever think you're gonna stay stagnant. If you're gonna stagnate, you're dying. Like, you want your you can't force your spouse to be like, hey, come to the gym with me, right? Yeah. Unless they were already kind of doing that thing and you met them there, I mean, then you kind of, that's your thing or something. Or that goes for entrepreneurship. Like, understand why I'm at work 8 hours, understand why I have to take this phone call. I don't understand that. It's not my life. I don't get that. It's always, now you have to find a compromise in between. And which you I think only I can realize is that, like, communication is always going to be the best thing, and not really it takes a lifetime to build trust, but it takes, one or two things to happen that you lose all the trust.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. It's just overall with that, dude, like, and I want to touch on that when we're constantly going to change, right? I had a talk with Julian, 19-year-old guy, came in the office. He wants to get into real estate. Well, he called me up and he says, "Hey, I need some advice." I'm like, "Well, I'm not sure what kind of advice you're looking for." I said, "I would just give you my advice from my experience, but it doesn't apply to you because he's 19, I'm 39. So I already got 20 years of experience of life over him." So he was talking about how he's at a point where, he wants to be a car salesman, save up some money, get into real estate and just sell. And he doesn't want to go to school because he feels, he had mentioned that,
Did he initially want to go to school?
Yeah, he did initially, but now he's tired of it. He's burnt out. And he says that I feel dumb because I fell into that lie that, education is key. Education is key, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to waste my time with something that I'm not good at. And the way I explained to him is like this. Look, it's not a lie that they told you. Basically, it's someone looking out for your best interest, wanting you to be safe. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going to school and getting a degree if that's what you want.
Yeah.
So don't look at it as a negative, why I spent all this time. No. I said, I would give you the same advice I would give my son. Go to school, have a backup plan. That's fine. If you don't use your degree, that's fine. If you're 110% committed that you don't want to go to school, you're completely checked out, fine. Do what's going to make you happy and pursue what your passion is. I said, I can't tell you to quit going to school because I don't really know your background. I went to school, I did okay. Then I got kicked out of university, got my A degree, and kind of find out I didn't need to use any of those degrees for the jobs that I ended up getting.
Yeah.
Right? But you never know. The way I see it, luck always serves as prepared. So if you got the time to go and get a degree, fine, get a degree, fantastic, great, put that notch on your belt, continue with education. But if you're checked out mentally and you have no passion, then I think at that point in time, get thrown the towel. All right, I'm gonna move on to something else because this isn't for me. So at the end of it, he said thank you, and like I told him, I said I can't. I've done school, it wasn't for me, but there's other people that I know that they excelled in school, but don't try to feel like everything that they told you was a lie. Oh, they lied to me that school is going to be the key to my success.
Well, you have that. I mean, think about it, right? Like, I mean, when we first met him, his like, I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna go to school, and he came off like he was really driven to go to school, and I think I felt like he had that form of mentality that he could do well in it.
Yeah.
Then he gets in an environment of selling cars. Okay. Nothing against selling cars, but I mean, maybe depending on that environment that he's around now, there's probably a lot of guys who've been there selling cars for a long time or getting into selling cars and getting money fast. And when you're 19 and you see quick money, now you're like, okay, that doesn't, this is probably where I need to be at. And, you're not getting people supporting you're kind of the odd man out when it comes to that education aspect.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I think if anything, just because he has no responsibilities, he has no kids, he's not married, very, very, very low overhead. It's just, he may need to just get with people that are, are in that arena, or have went to school, and they'll tell him something different, and then he just needs to figure out what he wants to do for himself. Because I think everybody's decisions are based off of what somebody else wants them to do for them.
Exactly.
Like, so it's regardless if or not, like, oh, I'm a great saver of money, or I went to do this because of this, because of that, and then you kind of go back and you realize it's because something that your parents instilled in you. That was their choice for you to do that, right?
Yeah.
I got into this job and I ended up going this way because everybody you're kind of with kind of pushed you in that direction, So so it's just you're not easily, but you naturally would be influenced by who you are with if you can't.
Yeah, who you associate with.
Yeah, if you can't identify who you are, and at that age, you're 19, you're still a kid.
Yeah.
Shit, even at this age, I think in our 30s, still you can easily be influenced, because I don't believe that. Sounds funny, but like, I forgot how he said it. He goes, God made if all the things, when things are going right, you know, it's easy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man! I came over here. I'm selling cars. I'm making all this money. No, nothing. I'm just saying against car selling, nothing at all.
Yeah,
I'm saying maybe I went to oil fields. I got this money fast, or maybe I
Yeah.
just picked up selling X, Y, and Z. It's so great, so much money fast. And you know, when things are clicking, there's no adversity. It's working quick. You know, I mean, it's the easiest way. It feels great. But
Yeah.
you know, God didn't make nothing to be that easy, man. He
Yeah.
makes it to test you and put you in the long term because He can't give you all your wealth if you're not ready for that wealth.
Mhm.
So now my thought, my thought is like, okay, well, yeah, the long term may be for him to be at the school or for him to take this path. Go hit that long term.
Mhm.
You know, don't listen to everybody. It's so easy, man, for everybody. This happens to me. It happened to me to be like, what am I supposed to do? Okay, well, I'm supposed to get married. I'm supposed to have kids, and I'm supposed to have a house, and like everybody kind of dictates what you feel is supposed to happen, and then
Yeah.
you get there, and it's kind of like, man, is this what I wanted?
Yeah.
Then you either stick it out or you have a breakdown, or you get to that job and you're like, everybody told me I needed to do this, and I got here and I sold a bunch of houses, and you're like, I have more problems than I really can deal with now. But no one prepared you for the other side of it. Like you were just taking someone else's push to this is what you should be doing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they always pick the grass greener on the other side
Right.
until you're headed to that other pasture and you find out there's a big ass valley. Like, oh shit.
So I think you should
that.
do things that I think you asked me. You asked me one time. You said, what do you do for a hobby? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I was like, I go to work and say I try to sell houses. Like, you're like, that's not really a hobby. And that always stuck with me because I'm like, what the hell do I do for a hobby? Like, okay,
Yeah.
I think you're like, you go to the movies. Like, that's kind of your hobby. I'm like, oh, I do go to the movies with my kids.
Mhm.
So that made me feel more like it's something I'm doing with them. My hobby is to go to the gym. Then my hobby became just trying to do little things here or there. Maybe my hobby is hanging out with you guys doing game night. So I had to switch my thinking, because no one's ever challenged me to be like, well, what's your hobby? Like, who are you kind of situation. Man, I think that's what happens. We don't, we get so caught up in like, again, money, and being in around. Okay, so then being around church more, you're like, oh, what is my hobby, or how am I giving back, or how am I, working with others, and I think some of the best experiences my whole year for 2019. That's why I'm not even gonna say it was a bad year, but I mean, like, to go through a divorce, to separate, to have a whole life change. I always tell you too. It's really hard unless you went through that to understand, like, when your whole world's ripped out from under you. How do you get back into rhythm of what your life is now? Right. You get at 19 or at 9, when you're living in your parents' house, you really don't have your rug ripped out from under you. Like, well, you lose a girlfriend or something like that. You're kind of like, well, I'm still here at mom's house. I don't have to worry about the world. At 20, you're still young, so you still have all your friends to go out with, and hang out with, the party, and kind of keep you away from it. Or maybe you're at school and you just, it's not, you still have it, but then when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, I mean, I'd imagine when that rug gets ripped out from under you, you're kind of like, well, I invested a lot into this.
Yeah.
I put all my eggs in this hat. Now what? And if you can't rely on your faith, or you can't rely on loving yourself as well, or whatever power you look into, it's a harder fall, right? So then I look at this year, it's like, okay, well, I don't think I would ever have met or had the conversations with these individuals or people that I've opened up to or had these conversations with or been in front of, had I not went through that and then really gotten to my faith or anything like that, because it made me more open to having a more realistic conversation. It made me more open to being like, forget the ego, right?
Yeah.
Forget what I'm trying to sell everybody is my story, or this is my strength and stuff like that. And I realized the more you didn't worry about that, the more people were receptive to it. The more the more people were able to have a conversation with you about stuff and be more realistic with you, so it just put the right people in that place. So kind of back to him, like you figure he's in that situation. Those are just the people that are put in front of him right now. He has to sift through that to find who he can rely on, who's been through some trials, and well, tell me the bad side of selling cars. Tell me the bad side of this type of business. Like, I want to know the ups and downs, because I could, then I could weigh out my best option for me, and don't make that decision. But I will tell you this though, man, the worst decision, the worst thing to do is to put yourself in debt, get caught, not have kids, but have that extra responsibility, because it's a lot harder when you're like, I got 3 or 4 or 5 kids, and now I got mouths to feed, and I still have to. And it doesn't give you any time to just as much time as you want to deal with the grief. It doesn't give you time, because now you have to get back up That's the definition of really
Dust
trying to
yourself
do
off
it.
and
Yeah.
get back at it again, man. And that's been the hardest part because even with him, he's so new into this business that he's in. I told him, look, man, I'll tell you this much. You will constantly be changing. So what you want right now at 19, but I guarantee
Yeah.
you when 25, it's going to be completely different.
Yeah.
And then 30, the same thing. So right now in your life, right now where you're at, this is where you feel you need to be and you need to do for yourself. And that's okay.
Or the best thing to say would have probably been, you should probably tell him too, if he ain't watching. You can get a job now that you know you can sell cars. You can get a job selling cars anytime.
That's what I told him.
Yeah, you can get it at 25. You can get it at 30.
It's there.
But
It's
it's
never
a lot
gonna-
harder to go back to school on the opposite end.
Yep.
You can do it, right?
Mhm.
Right?
You can. You
Knock
can.
the school out first.
You can go. And that's
I would have went to school had I could do everything over again.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'd have kids that early, but I mean,
yeah.
I probably would have went and did that, you know.
Yeah, in
versus
hindsight, yeah. I'd love to
chasing
go
the what do you call it? I don't want to say like the things of the world, but chasing the like money, cars, and the experiences and stuff like that. You know, those were more important. Living like having that life was more important earlier to me than it is now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's the thing, and something we've talked about, like, but those experiences that you had,
Put me where I'm at now that I can think that way about it.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
So it's always
Because it's like,
Yeah.
you know, my mom always told me, she's like, yeah, you know, do things when you're young because when you get older, you don't want to be doing shit when you're young. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? She's like, look, and she told me this when I was like in like mid to late 20s. She's like, look, you know, I want you to do everything right now because you're still young and get out your system. But I was married at the time already, so like, what else can I do? You know, paycheck to paycheck. Like, relax, mom. She's like, no, but you know, whatever, this is gonna be your life. Whatever when you get older, don't do anything crazy. So now when I got to that too, like mid 30s, and I got this other one, she's like, see, that's exactly what I meant. But you didn't do that. You're younger now. You're doing it when you're older.
Yeah, but you know, think about like, but then again, you know, like you said, we're back to like, do people change? Yeah, I think you can't be the same constant line the whole way through. Like, you know, you have to. I think the biggest misconception, you know, and this comes to like, I think for people that are single, it's easier, right? Because you can say, well, I can go try this, I can try that.
Right.
You know, you envy the people that are in relationships because eventually, you know, you want to get there and stuff like that. I'm not saying get things out of your system, but just in general, you get to discover maybe who you are.
Right.
It's harder to discover who you are when you're with another person because you're
doing
discovering who
things.
you are is them being like, are you being a different person now?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, but when you're but I think a core understanding has to just come to like you may want to like the less if you're not trying to be different, not be different. If you're not trying to grow.
Yeah.
You know, like you're gonna, you know, it's like dying inside, or you're just so yeah. I mean, maybe you want to learn. Okay, want to learn a little bit more about smoking cigars.
Mm-hmm.
And like me, dude, I suck at barbecuing, but I'm interested in learning how to barbecue.
Yeah.
But okay, so now you want to barbecue? You know, well, yeah, I want to learn because, like, you know, I'm around other people that are doing it, and naturally that's a circle. So I'm like, oh well, shoot, I never thought about picking that skit that up before. Well, how do you do that? And how do you do this? You know, because I think that goes back to when you had asked me, like, well, what are your hobbies? So if I'm like, hey, what are your hobbies? You tell me what your hobbies are, but then I ask you a year from now, and you're like, oh, this is still my same hobbies, and a year from now, you know, when is it that you're going to add a new hobby or a new hobby or a new hobby?
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, going back to relationships, I think the biggest misconception with the relationship is that you have to literally be with each other every goddamn day or up each other's ass every day or you can't do anything. Like, you're still a person. Like, you should still be able to go do what you want to do and you want to do. And that's the thing of a relationship, you know, like it's, you know, like
I think it becomes a problem in a relationship when you start to venture out and start to do things that, oh, you know what? Random. I'm gonna get into archery. So then you know you gotta go do that.
Oh, you're Robin Hood now.
Who's got you into archery now?
Right.
Wait, no, so I just want to try something different. And I think that person that's fighting, that's giving you the resistance, hasn't figured out who they are, what their hobbies are, what they like to do. That doesn't include.
And it's hard to ask people questions like that because sometimes it's challenging to them. You know, they're in a situation where, man, well, I'm not around anybody different. You know, some personalities just love the consistency of doing the same thing over and over because it's safe.
Yeah, exactly.
So then, kind of to the blind faith, this wasn't it. But you know, my thoughts are in a relationship. If you're married or you have that relationship, if you're not married but you've been together all the time, like you should initially understand with trust, there's blind faith. I understand that I trust that I trust that we're not an issue. We love each other.
Mhm.
So you can do things that are growing as a person, right?
Mhm.
So your children leave the nest, go to school, get jobs, learn new hobbies, do different things, talk to their spouses, father. That kind of becomes a second father to them with advice. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or mother, that comes like a second. Well, we're gonna go to my mother-in-law's house, and she's gonna make food for us, and this you know what I mean? Like they adopt these other parental figures, these other friends, but you never look at your child and say they don't love me, because they love you, and they always still love you. There's that connection, but they're growing.
Mhm.
Same thing in the relationship. Like I still love you. You still love me. We trust each other. We can have the doors and the windows open, and the air can go through the house all at once, but the love's still there. Like you can still be whoever you want to be. We don't always have to do it together. You
And
should
that's
never
the
feel
thing, man,
guilty
yeah.
about that.
And that's the thing, because in the way I was raised out of guilt. Oh, you're not gonna help me out. Like, why would you not do that? Oh, what kind of person are you? It's like, look, man, there's a point where you have to kind of break that old tradition mold and be like, look, this was gonna make you happy. I genuinely have a good heart. So if anyone tells you, man, it's because I'm not doing what they want me to do.
Yeah.
And it's not that I dislike them or despise them. I
Yeah.
just don't want to do what they want to
Yeah.
do. I just found that piece of myself. Like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, it's cool to say no.
Yeah,
it's okay.
it's
to
all
say
right,
no.
and that's something that
we have to have an excuse for like the reason you're saying no.
exactly, yeah.
It's like there's peer pressure still when you're an adult. Like,
Mhm.
come on, let's
do that.
Like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So,
No.
well, I think we're an hour in, 1 minute over.
Yeah.
I think
It's
it's kind
all
of,
right, man.
that's why I like when our flow, a little conversation goes a little bit here, a little bit there.
It was good, man. It was
It
a
was
good
good.
conversation, man. It's good to be back too.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
We gotta stay consistent on this.
Yeah.
Right now we're not, but we will. No,
Cool.
that's our New Year's resolution. So, anyways, guys, man, make sure you follow us at each of our Facebooks, Instagrams. Follow us at Put a Stamp on It podcast online, YouTube, iTunes, any major streaming system. Hit us up. We should hear from you guys.
Yeah.
We should have another episode before Christmas, but man,
Oh, definitely. So yeah. So if you like us, please like and share with everybody. Put a Stamp on It podcast. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And thanks again, you guys, for tuning in. And
Yes,
we'll have
sir.
another episode coming up right away.
Boom.
Thank you.
Did you ever load that other episode up?